Yeah, well, as you know, and you stated in your intro, I mean, this is the largest county facility in the state of New Jersey, one of the largest across the country in terms of county facilities, and we're proud of it in the sheriff's.
Well,
We generate revenue here. Last year, we did over $12 million in the facility, and it's because of housing those beds. So when you look at
I always knew that county jails and prisons made a lot of money by us being there occupying beds in jail cells. But it puts a whole nother twist to it when they talk about it, you know? They've been getting me since I was 11 years old. I ain't got no more time for them, and I don't want them getting no more money off of me. When I was a kid, they sent us down Jamesburg, me and my brother. I used to look at my brother in the mess hall, and my whole world would just fall apart. Like, damn, this is not real. This can't be life. Then, for it to happen again as an adult, and us to have to ride together on the Bluebird, going on the way to Craft, and him falling asleep on my shoulder, it just felt like an effed up movie. And at that point, I knew I never wanted to go to jail again. Besides the fact that I missed the birth of my first child. She was born 8 days after I lost trial. And they locked me up as soon as I lost trial. Now, I feel as though I could relive that and see my new daughter grow up. I missed about 8 years of my first daughter's life.
I love you.
Mama. Where you from, bro?
From Left Rack City, Queens.
You ever been to jail?
Oh yeah, no doubt. When I was 15 is when I caught my first bid. So yeah, it's all together. I spent like about 12 years of my life in prison.
So what made you straighten up?
Man, basically how the saying goes, not to sound so cliche, but you know, you gotta get sick and tired of being sick and tired, you know what I'm saying? And I began to realize that I'm better than this. I'm greater than this. I'm better than, you know, God has a greater purpose for me than to spending my life inside a prison, being inside somebody's jail. So I was real tired. I was real fed up. And I actually got fed up with the whole lifestyle before I even caught my last case. While I was home, I was still hustling. I was looking for legitimate businesses to invest in. You know, I did invest in some real estate and different things of that nature. And I was truly trying to find a way to get out. But the one thing that kept me from fully getting out was that when I was hustling, I was used to that lifestyle. That's why my whole focus right now as a certified alcohol and drug counselor is to show that drug dealing is an addiction.
I noticed you got a wedding ring on. Does that keep you home?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and absolutely. And what it does is that it's more than about me, because even though we gotta start with yourself, you gotta love yourself. You gotta want to stay out. You gotta want to do it for yourself. But then when you have those people on the outside too, that when you start to come to that understanding of that you're not the only one doing time, that your kids do the time, that your wife do the time, that your mother, that your father do the time, that young people in your community that look up to you, even older people in your community that look up to you doing the time. When you understand this thing is bigger than you, that helps you.
Alright, so Prison Dodger's philosophy is to be here. In order to be here, you gotta dodge prison, you gotta do what you gotta do. Take care of your family. You wanna deal with self-savior first, and then take care of your family. Now, growing up, me and my friends, we all had an addiction, and that addiction was to sell drugs in order to get the things we wanted, which was clothes, jewelry, cars, I was renting cars because I was a kid when I was running the streets, literally. Um, but we all got this addiction of selling drugs, and it seems like the minute you get caught up, you got to spend all your money on bail, a lawyer, and then everything everything you left out there, got to go to your family. So your resources is automatically depleted for most people. And I want to say most people is probably about like 95%. And you're sitting in jail waiting for your family to send you canteen, and they're struggling because your family, your mother, your wife, or your sister, they're probably not running the streets as you are. And they're struggling, so you're putting more of a strain on them by them having to send you money for commissary when you could have actually been home having a job or a LLC. Because if you're a hustler, you can make it happen with your own LLC, a productive LLC. You can make it just as productive as being productive in the streets. And that's what you want to. Prison Dodgers is trying to get the fellas to move toward being more active positively in your own community.
All right, well, basically, like I stated earlier, saying I'm from Queens, Left Rack City, Homer, Noriega, Akinelli, I grew up with them cats, them my dudes. As I already spoke about how I got 3 gun possessions under my jacket. My first time I ever got a gun was because me and my friends was walking through the park, and a kid who I was friends with that previous year, who just stopped talking to me because he saw of certain privileges that I had. He was walking through the park, he pulled out a gun and he pointed the gun at us. He just did like this. I said, I could kill you anytime I want to. We felt naked out there. So we knew, we gotta go get heat. We gotta go get a gun. You're not just gonna be coming out here pointing the gun at me. So we had to go get a gun. So you start getting involved with things. As we all began getting involved with things, packing guns, selling our weed, moving up, selling coke and so forth. Around that time, that's when my parents moved me out here, out to a suburban area. Bought them a house. They did what a lot of people in New York was doing at the time. A lot of city workers were saying we could get a better bang for our buck by moving out to places like Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and just commute here, and we could get these nice houses. So they moved us out here, and we get out here, but my mentality was already there. The mind state was already there. So that's why when I came out here, I still had that New York state of mind. I still came out here wilding, ready to snap, buck wild. That's how I caught an armed robbery, aggravated assault, gun possession. I still was doing the same thing. The mind state was there. And that's what we gotta understand when we talk about what you're doing here with this whole prison dodgers thing, about being a prison dodger. Dodging prison is about digging into the inner you, that rotten inner part of you, that psyche, the things that was embedded in you as a young child. Let me explain. When you have a kid that's growing up in the neighborhood, and every other day or every day someone's coming up to him saying, some white man is riding up to him in a car saying, hey kid, you know where I could score, I could get some drugs from, It's just like how they broke it down in the movie Traffic, and he said how the white man come up, hey kid, I could get some drugs from, where I could score, And the kid comes up, this gets embedded into his psyche. They're saying that this is the relationships that are built, this is what's inside of me, that this is who I am, this is my purpose. To know where to get drugs from, to know how to score drugs, to know how to get money fast. That's where the addiction comes in. These are the things that were embedded inside me on an early age, inside my psyche.
Alright, so we got issues in our community, obviously, with young black men. We tend to shoot each other, stab each other, kill each other. And the bottom line of that is just that it's whack, it's corny. Because the same people that we do it, like we do it to each other and then point the finger at the white guy. Like, oh, the white man this, the white man that. The crackers ain't giving us no job. Da 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 da. And prison, like with prison dodgers, we here to like set a standard. Like, nah, that's not what you do. You don't go out and shoot your brother or anybody else for that matter. You know, you shouldn't be shooting nobody unless they're trying to harm your household. You know, because you may want to protect yourself. I'm like pro protect yourself and your family and your household. But for example, I was riding with a old friend the other day, and he was telling me how he was going at it with somebody, and they're back and forth, and I'm like, well, what's the reason? And he looked at me and said, I don't know. But it's too late for that. It's going down. You about to throw your life away for something you don't even know. The reason you don't even know. And that other person probably is in the same boat as you. Are you going to have the ways and actions of a crab? Constantly pull the person down trying to get out? Or are y'all all just crabs in a bucket just going at each other? Like not even trying to pull each other down. Like you're just at the bottom of the bucket just going at each other. Prison Dodgers is like basically here to say like it's like totally whack. It's corny. There's no money in that. There's no happiness in that. We like Prison Dodgers want you to enjoy life, want you to provide for your family, want you to be a man, and that's just how the story goes. Enjoy life, be a prison dodger, become a prison dodger.
All right. Well, you know, what makes me a prison dodger is basically, I gotta share a quote, and I wish I could give props to the author, but I don't even know the name of the person who first stated this quote. But it says that the two greatest moments in your life is the day you were born and the day you realize why you were born. And what makes me a prison dodger is knowing my purpose. And it all started when I was in Bayside State Prison. And it's like I always knew that I wanted to help other people. I had this vision that, you know, the Most High had placed in my mind and on my heart of seeing myself speaking out to other people in what I call and know now as the abandoned nation. But I just didn't know what was the platform and how I would do all these things. But I began to contemplate on it and think about it and pray on it and meditate on it when I was down Bayside State Prison. And when I left from Bayside State Prison to go into Talbot Hall, on my way into the halfway house, that's when I met a drug counselor. And after seeing his job and seeing his interaction and his how his job allowed him to be around people like me and talk to people like me and set a good example, I knew like that's what I wanted to do right there. That was my calling, that was my purpose. And that was the day that I realized why I was born. It made sense of everything that I had went through. It made everything seem worth it. Because before that day, I always wished that I could just take back and had never went to jail before in my life. And not that I'm proud of it or wear it like as if it's a badge or something of honor. However, I do know that it made me who the person that I am today, that it gives me the experience and the credibility to go forth and talk to other young brothers, to go out here and fight for the right cause.
To be totally honest, when I was on the streets, I had no respect at all for authorities. Whether it was the cops, the judge, or the prosecutor, I had no respect for them. One, I didn't have respect for the cops because I was running the streets, on the street corners, selling drugs, running around with pistols, doing everything you could think of. Like robbing people. I went through a phase of doing that too, where I was actually a stick-up kid. Had no respect for the prosecutor because I kept coming in front of him. And same with the judge. I kept coming in front of the judge. I actually, as a juvenile, I actually went in front of a judge, and then as an adult, I went in front of the same judge who sent me away for 10 years. He kind of figured, like, you have no respect for me. I've seen you constantly as a juvenile, now I'm seeing you as an adult. So I guess that was his way of teaching me a lesson by giving me the maximum sentence when I caught my case. So prison dodgers, bottom line is to avoid all negative contact with authorities. And by doing that, I feel as though we could create law-abiding citizens, because the saying goes, if you're doing dirt, eventually the police will catch up with you. So if you're not doing dirt, by avoiding negative contact with authorities, you would dodge prison altogether. And that's our bottom line, is to stay clear from the authorities.
Stay out. We gotta complete these paroles, complete these probations, continue to bombard these jobs, continue to build our own businesses and support another brother when they're striving to build their business. You know, and that's the only way that we're gonna be fully successful in this and stay out of prison.
On this track is so live, I could this be denied. They say the proof, like Snoop once said, this is protected by ballers with big dicks and 187 skill. That's a must for testers. Hustlers, what it do? My life always on the line. Yeah. I'm a soldier survivor, period. No question mark is needed. Y'all better know what it is. Allow me. From them brick tenements to them cinema flicks, so many quick nightcaps, it's hard to remember some chicks. Flashbacks to certain cats in a similar mix. Sit home through them semis, such sinister shit. Converse with my old earth in any event. Them hot shells ever hit me, just tell my sons gently, simply, I'm a rider, I provide for the fam. A Da Vinci with the smarts, heart of similar same. Empty I am, but my subconscious so in tune. Lot of nonsense, they harmless, they know I'm immune. I'm a goon.